Hey YouTube, Family Grim Bro, giving you guys a deck profile for my Jewel Knights. Jewel Knights were the Royal Paladin subclan that came out in set 10. And because, the Royal Paladins and, female knights and all that stuff, they received a lot of hype. A lot of people wanted to get some of the other really good stuff in set 10, like Liberators, Eradicators, stuff like that. But Jewel Knights didn't really pan out. Their effects were pretty basic, and just stuff did things a lot better. They didn't really get some of the proper support like some of the other cards did. And then slowly but surely they started getting a little bit more stuff. They got a new boss monster in a promo, which is featured in this video. And then set 14 is coming out, and set 14 gives them a huge boost as they get a cross break ride, and quite possibly like one of the best cross break rides that are out there as far as cost efficiency for the skill to go with it. So right now I'm sort of preparing for set 14 Jewel Knights a little bit, and this is what I have at the moment, and that is based around Jewel Knight Julia, who is the one of the promos you get. I find her a lot superior to Salome, as she's a lot less restrictive. So let me give you guys the deck profile. Pretty basic stuff as far as like combos go, so I'm not going to go too in depth into this video. Your starter is Dreaming Jewel Knight Tiffany, Forerunner. Put her into the Soul and choose 2 Jewel Knights to give them plus 3,000. Pretty much you trade off of 5,000 boops for 6,000 power split between 2 units. Helps you make your 18Ks become 21s, and 20s become 23s, stuff like that. So best starter as far as the way the Jewel Knights go, and Royal Paladin starters, I'm sure people know about that. 8 crits, 4 of them being Jewel Knights. 4 Jewel Knight draws, and 4 Jewel Knight heals. Also 4 Jewel Knight Perfect Guards, the new Assault, one of my favorite Perfect Guards from Royal Paladins, by the way. But Jewel Knights are actually, I think, the first clan to like reveal to have the Quintet Wall skill. But as far as I know, the deck just doesn't run the Quintet Walls at all, because there's no reason to run that over Assault whatsoever. As Jewel Knights, they're not going to get any Legion support that we know of so far. And being like an archetype, they don't really go with some of the new stuff that is going to come out in Season 4. So 4 Assaults is just kind of the way to go. I honestly don't even bother with the Quintet Wall when we get that. 4 10k attackers for the grade 1s. Shelly. Very nice as far as like early rush, late game if some of your stuff gets retired and you just move her up from a booster to an attacker. Very versatile. 4 of this guy. This guy came out in the Mega Trial deck along with Olwyn, who is the clan's like 11k attacker. He's just like the Counterblast 1 and gets plus 1,000 clone that every clan has. And the only reason why I run him is because he's a 7k Jewel Knight. Outside of that, he really has no use whatsoever, and he'll be replaced when new stuff comes out. I had him in here because of Salome, and because Salome you want to max out on Jewel Knights as much as possible. But for him, I left him in here because I still need Jewel Knights for my rearguard skills, because unlike some of the other 10k and 12k attackers where it's like if you have a certain vanguard, this is about having a certain number of Jewel Knight rearguards. So you still want to try to max out the number of Jewel Knights as possible. So I left him in there. And then 2 Prismies. I probably could replace him with some more Prismies, because Prismy is a slightly more useful skill, and I say that relatively because it's if you have when this card is placed on rear guard if the number of rear guard or other rear guard units with Jewel Knight is 3 or more. So you have to have like 4 Jewel Knight rear guards when you play her out. You discard and draw. So it's, again, nothing special as far as skill. So kind of nice to call off a Sybil or something like that, and just when you're filling up your field. But that's it for the grade 1s. Grade 2, it's 4 of the 12K attackers. Probably the best as far as Jewel Knight grade 2s go that we have at the moment. 3 Sybils. She's kind of like your Tartu clone, or like equivalent, I guess. The clan has 8K Counterblast 2, call out a grade 1 Jewel Knight to rear guard. She's okay, like it's nice for like a versatile thing. Unfortunately, it's restricted to, you know, Jewel Knights, so you can't get like an 8K vanilla and have a 16K column. You have to get the 7K and either put it somewhere else and put something else behind her. She doesn't hit for very good numbers in a deck that's supposed to be very beatdown-ish because she's 8K, so a lot of people don't bother running her, or she's like one of the first ones on the chopping block. I still kept her in there because I like the card advantage, and also because I'm running Blaster Blades instead of Olwen. Olwen is the other 12K, or the 11K attacker from the Mega Trial deck, and just because he's an 11K Jewel Knight, he's like a $10 common, and he's actually probably one of the most expensive things in the deck outside of Sanctuary Guard Dragon. After that, it's him, and then, you know, some of the other Jewel Knight guy, probably Irian. But because of the way that Julia works, and she's less restrictive on what Jewel Knights you can have, I'm running the Blaster Blades in here just for the retire skill. Nice to have in the Vanguard. 4 is pretty excessive, and this will probably change once I get the new Set 14 stuff. But as far as Royal Paladins go, there isn't too much better unless I want to run like the 10K vanillas or something like that. And on to grade 3s, we got 4 Ashley. Alright, she is honestly considered by most to be the worst break ride, as she only gives the... She gives a plus 10,000 like all the break rides do, but then her other skill is just gives +1 critical, which, I mean, it's cool and all, but when you're considering that you're break riding on top of 10K 10K Vanguards, and so you're just going to be hitting for like 20K unboosted, and they just perfect guard it. Unlike some of the other break rides, like your Die Kaisers, your Night Mist, she doesn't really generate advantage. She doesn't restand your Vanguard. She doesn't help you really swing for too much pressure outside of an extra critical on your Vanguard. But she functions well with both Julia, as well as she gets your insane cross break ride, which is why she's still maintaining a pretty high value as far as break rides go. She's probably like one of the most expensive ones out there, although she's subpar is complimenting her pretty much as far as break rides go. And then lastly, we have 4 Fearless Knight Julia, who's sort of the star of the show for the deck. When she attacks a Vanguard, she gets plus 3,000, so she's a 13K attacker, which is pretty nice as far as hitting numbers go. And then after the battle that she attacks a Vanguard, you can pay the cost of counterblasting 2 and search her deck for a number of Jewel Knight cards in its name up to the number of criticals that she has. So she works very well with Ashes. You get out the counterblast 2 to search 1, which is, you know, pretty standard. If it's the break ride turn, you break ride her over Ashley, and she has 2 criticals, that's counterblast 2, search for 2, and then, you know, let's say you get a critical off the drive check, or something like that. That's an additional critical, so she can search for up to like 2 to 3 cards when you use her skill. And just for the pressure, the filling up your field, she is the superior option to Salome, who has her own like sort of special counterblast to call out Jewel Knights, and then if you have a certain number of Jewel Knights on the field, she got, you know, +1 critical, stuff like that. Even still, Julia, just for the pressure, the advantage she gives, a much better option as far as bosses go. So yeah, that's the Jewel Knight deck. Unfortunately, the deck is nothing special at the moment, but this is sort of like a placeholder for myself until set 14 comes out, when we get Ashley Reverse, who sort of puts Jewel Knights on the map finally, and Ashley Reverse just by herself is an absolutely insane card. And then couple that with the new Jewel Knight support and some of the other cards that they get, the deck can definitely become pretty decent competitive-wise. So let me know what you guys think. Let me know what changes I can probably do right now, or if you have any input on what I can do for set 14 when we get new support for these guys. Let me know, please. Thanks for watching, YouTube, and peace out.